The National Football League just made its biggest international bet in history, and half of America is not happy about it. On Tuesday, the NFL unveiled 9 international games for the 2026 season across 7 countries: Australia, Brazil, the United Kingdom, France, Spain, Germany, and Mexico. That's not a typo. 9 games, 7 countries, and 2 of them, Melbourne and Paris, have never hosted an NFL game before. Let's be clear about what this means. In a 17-game regular season, 9 games taking place on foreign soil represents over half of one team's entire schedule if you're unlucky enough to draw multiple international assignments. This isn't a cute marketing experiment anymore. This is structural. The reaction depends entirely on which side of the Atlantic or Pacific you're standing. In Australia, social media went absolutely nuclear. Melbourne is getting its first ever NFL game, likely at the Melbourne Cricket Ground, one of the most iconic stadiums in the Southern Hemisphere. Aussie fans flooded X, with videos of themselves celebrating. One user posted a video of himself literally sprinting through his house screaming. Another comment, "I've been waiting my entire life for this. I'm 43 years old." Australian sports journalists called it the biggest American football moment in the country's history, outside of a random preseason game decades ago that nobody remembers. France is in the same boat. Paris gets its first NFL game, and French fans are treating it like they just won a World Cup bid. One French commentator wrote, "American football is no longer just an American curiosity here. It's a movement. This legitimizes everything." The French Federation of American Football reported a spike in registration inquiries within hours of the announcement. That's real demand. Meanwhile, back in the United States, a very different conversation is brewing, and it's getting ugly. Open up Facebook, specifically the comment sections under NFL announcement posts, and you'll find a wave of backlash that's been building for years, finally cresting. Here's a direct quote from one highly liked comment. "Congrats, NFL. You're now the IFL, International Football League. What's next? A team in London? Oh, wait, you've been trying that for a decade." Another, and how about focusing on cities like San Antonio, Portland, or San Diego that actually want teams instead of flying billionaires to countries that'll forget about football the second the game ends? And another, with over 2,000 likes, "I'm done. This league doesn't care about American fans anymore. We built this. We filled the stadiums. We bought the jerseys. Now they're chasing international TV dollars and leaving us behind." This is not fringe. This is a legitimate, vocal, and growing segment of the NFL fan base that feels alienated by the league's international expansion. They see 9 games overseas, and they see 9 fewer games in American markets. They see logistical nightmares for players, jet lag, travel fatigue, time zone confusion. They see the NFL prioritizing global brand growth over competitive integrity. And you know what? They're not entirely wrong. There are real costs here. Teams playing in London historically perform worse the following week. Players have openly complained about international travel during the season. Fans in cities like Oakland, San Diego, and St. Louis, who lost their teams, are watching the league bend over backwards for Melbourne and Madrid while their cities got nothing but empty stadiums and broken promises. But here's the other side of this. The NFL is a business, and the international market is worth billions. According to Nielsen, over 30 million people across Europe watched NFL games last season. In Germany alone, the Munich game sold out in under 30 minutes. The NFL's streaming deal with DAZN brought American football to over 200 countries. The global audience is real, it's growing, and it's young. The NFL isn't expanding internationally because it's bored. It's doing it because domestic growth is plateauing. TV ratings in the U.S. are strong but not exploding. Ticket prices are maxed out. Merchandise sales are steady. The only way to grow the sport and the revenue is to go global, and if they don't, someone else will. The UFL tried. Other leagues have tried. The NFL wants to own this space before someone else figures it out. So what happens next? The 2026 schedule will be released in full later this spring, and we'll find out which teams are playing where. Historically, the Jaguars, Dolphins, and Patriots have volunteered for international games, but 9 games means 9 different teams, possibly more if some teams take multiple trips. That's going to create serious competitive equity questions. Are playoff contenders going to be forced to play in Sao Paulo in October? How do you balance that? The NFL is also facing a decision point on something bigger, a London-based franchise. For years, the league has floated the idea. These 9 international games feel like a stress test. If Paris, Madrid, and Melbourne can sustain NFL-level interest, a permanent European team becomes a lot more realistic, and that would truly split the fan base. American traditionalists would lose their minds, international fans would celebrate it as validation, and the league would print money. Right now, the NFL is walking a tightrope. On one side, a passionate domestic fan base that feels taken for granted. On the other, a massive international audience that's hungry, engaged, and ready to spend. The 2026 season will be the biggest test yet of whether the NFL can be both the National Football League and the International Football League at the same time, or whether trying to be both means it loses what made it special in the first place.